It is wonderful. This is Greg Swann and Kathleen Collins driving together on Sunday, the 21st of July, 2013. We are on our way to the town of Blue Diamond, which is a giant community composed of about 300 people spread over 37 square miles in the scrub-ass desert west and south of Las Vegas.
Actually, I'm becoming more enamored of it.
It is. It's desert is pretty. Desert is always pretty. We're commenting we are Phoenix desert snobs, and so we live in the land of beautiful succulents like the saguaro and the teddy bear cholla. And there's nothing like that here. This is high mountain desert. That's probably, my guess would be probably getting around 12, 14 inches of rain a year, maybe a little more than that. And so there's low scrub like we would expect in Joshua trees, and really no succulents that we can see at all.
Yeah, that's like it.
But it is genuinely pretty desert. Desert is always pretty.
That's gorgeous.
Look over here. See the road up the hill? Somebody's going to have a house up there behind all those switchbacks. Or maybe just a lot that they developed and never had the money to build on. That happened. Fortune smiles, but not always as often as you want her to. This has been my issue with Las Vegas, this trip in particular, is that I am particularly aware of all of the many ways that the Las Vegas economy encourages and induces people to make hideous mistakes with their lives. The consequence is that the streets are a crawl with vagrants, with addicts, with gambling addicts, and obviously they're going to be addicted to other substances too. They'll be addicted to liquor or drugs or whatever, indiscriminate sex, who knows what. But it's the gambling that leads to it all, and then you end up with just lots and lots of people everywhere you look wandering around without shoes, without shirts, looking to catch a quarter to dump it into some slot machine and then go back and catch another quarter.
You wouldn't be using that term a lot, catch.
Catch is, I've used it all my life.
But lately, you're
begging, that's why, it's begging. To catch a quarter is to beg it. To earn a quarter is you do it another way. But catching a quarter means saying spare change, you got any spare change, you got any spare change? Those guys.
But where does it come from?
I have no idea. It's a Carney term, no doubt, because all of this crap is Carney terms, but I'd have to do etiology on it, which of course I would do, because unlike anybody else who uses Carney terms, I look them all up. I am an intellectual about Carneyism. But it's that Carneyism, it's actually two things going on with me with respect to Carneyism. Is number one, that Carney thing that a Carney wants to gull you. That's part of what it means to be a Carney. It's not just a way of making a living. It's not just putting on a show. The deception leading to rookery, crookery, rookery, hookery, snaking the money out of your pocket by some sort of deceptive means is much more interesting to a Carney than actually earning it. And that's one thing. And Vegas is built on that kind of Carneydom, and I can look at it and laugh. I think it's really, really funny. And at the same time, really tragic. But the other end of that is, one of the complaints I have with Las Vegas right now is that they're not getting the Carney bit right. It's the one job they have to do, and they're not getting it right. That we have functionaries working in casinos, people who think they have a job, and that their job is to serve drinks or deal cards or schlep bags or something like that. Whereas if you have a job in Las Vegas, your job is to be a Carney. Your job is to upsell the suckers. That's it. And if
like that dealer we saw yesterday.
Exactly. We saw a dealer at the Golden Nugget last night. It's the only good dealer I've seen this trip. But she was fantastic, and she was a face actress, and when you lost, she would pout so expressively, and when she won, she would mock you and make fun of you. And we looked at a pit with 6 blackjack tables, and hers was the only one with any people at it, and she had 5 of 6 bases filled every time we looked at that table, and none of the other tables had any work going on at all. And that's sick. That's crazy. And these were pretty girls dressed in pretty dresses. It's not like they didn't have every advantage in the world, and yet
some of them were, you can see in their face, they were glaring at her.
exactly. I know that when they get back to the changing room where they change out of these idiot costumes and dress up in their normal everyday slut wear, that they all natter about this girl behind her back and say she's crazy and that she's getting it all wrong and how could she possibly be doing this and it can't possibly be working and everything's all wrong. And it's just so sad because they're standing there not working, they're not doing the job, and the one person who's actually doing the job is they're just staring and glaring. And the pit boss too, I'm sure, because this girl is going to make the pit boss look bad. If everybody sucks, then they'll say, oh well, she's doing the best she can with what she's got. Give her 1 star and 5 also rans, and the pit boss is going to look bad too. So probably they'll end up firing this girl, and she'll end up working at a better casino in consequence. One may hope, because the big casinos are doing the most terrible kind of job at, as far as I'm concerned, at gulling the marks. And I'm not saying that I want the marks to get gulled, because I don't, but this is the job they have. This is the business that they're in, is gulling the marks, and they're not doing it. I've noted again and again in the stories that I'm writing, I've noted all of the fat cocktail waitresses, which is just amazing to me. We were at the D last night, and this was even better than the Golden Nugget. The D had a pit with nothing but beautiful girl dealers dressed in really skimpy costumes, and then they had go-go dancers on platforms behind the tables, and they had, so we're looking at a pit with maybe 8 blackjack tables and 4 go-go dancers, and these pits were filled with guys. There were almost no girls at those tables. All the tables were full now. Everybody was playing. And we've got go-go dancers to make sure that you're betting stupidly. We don't want to take a chance that you're going to accidentally bet wisely and play good by-the-rules blackjack and lose slowly. We're going to make sure you lose really quickly, because we're going to show you these girls, and you're going to sit there losing quickly for a long, long time, so you can keep making eyes at those girls and imagining that you have a chance with them. And this is how carnies do business. This is what it means to be a carny, is never give a sucker an even break. And I want to talk about taking all the breaks away from the suckers. That's it. No chance of winning, even if, and there were guys at those blackjack tables who were dourly staring down at the table, really not looking at the girls, not looking at the dealers, not looking at anything except the cards, and still you just can't get away from that. It was just brilliant. And the music and the dancing and the excitement and the so-called free drinks, and this is what Vegas is supposed to do. This is the job of Las Vegas.
So we still have it downtown.
Still have it a little bit downtown, and I got to say, the D is very, very impressive. I was in there during the day, and I thought, okay, $68 million. Used to be Fitzgerald's. A $68 million investment. I know they spent it on the rooms. I'm not really seeing it too much downstairs except in the facade. But last night, Saturday night at the D, it was a rocket joint. It reminded me of Barbary Coast at its best, and Barbary Coast is a casino we used to love, and it's gone now. It's going to become the Gatsby or something like that, something ridiculous. Yet another empty highbrow joint on the South Strip, and nothing left for low rollers except downtown. And the low rollers were having a good time, and they were leaving money behind. And that is what is the job of a carny, is to suck the money out of the pocket. You suck it out slowly. You get them to lose with a smile, because if they lose with a smile, they'll come back. You can shear a sheep again and again, but you can only skin them once.
Maybe the strip is just so MBA that.
That's what it is. It's MBAs. MBAs ruin everything. They do not understand business. All they understand is spreadsheets. And so what's the problem with having a 62-year-old fat cocktail waitress? Well, there's no problem, and she complies with employment law, and she's got a 401k, and yakety smackety blow, we have no place to promote her to, so you can't promote her up and you can't fire her, and what are you stuck with is...
Probably union.
Undoubtedly, it's the culinary union and employment law and all of the different ways...
Like with the Peaks, Robin was explaining that they can't interview for a job. They can't. They're not job applicants. They are
entertainers, right?
Entertainers.
Yeah.
Waitresses.
Right, because they can set different job standards. That's how she gets she polices them by weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they weight and waist too? Do they measure the waist? They
I
should, because you're looking for the one thing in the world that will make suckers spend money. This is my advice. Jim Murren of MGM, all of the boys at Harrah's or Caesars Entertainment or whatever you call that company, all of the big gaming executives in the world. Do you want to know what makes idiots spend money fast? It's waste. It's the missing quantity in American pulper tube. Waste is vanishing from America. And if you want to get the suckers to come to Vegas and leave their money behind, just establish a waste standard for every woman on the casino floor. Doesn't matter about the men. The men can be as fat and ugly as you want them to be, because nobody gives a rat's ass anyway. But if you want guys spending money foolishly, then you got to give them waste. And
I bet all these little girls who come to town to pretend like they're bad girls.
They're bait. They're bait.
But I bet they still hang out around a good-looking dealer, good-looking cheap dealer. You know?
Oh, a guy? Except they're not gonna dump money. That's the problem. No, not in the same way. They will dump money, but they'll spend it on shows and restaurants and clothes and shoes and crap like that, which is fine. That's what all those shops are for. They're there for women. Men are not the only reason that men would spend money in those shops is to impress a woman. And you look at how the guys dress, you can tell that they're not going to be spending any $5,000 on a pair of shoes anyway. But no, women will not gamble like men. They will not dump money gambling like men, because
even if they had a good-looking guy hanging on one like that girl yesterday, I think that it could happen.
It might. Now you're not talking about girls though. You're talking about house frogs. You're talking about women in their 30s and 40s who are not happy with what's going on at home. And yeah, you can milk them, and then you don't have to milk them at the blackjack table, though. You can take them up to the room and milk them for big money. You can milk them for 4 figures, and then blackmail them forever if you want to. That's more Vegas, believe it. That's real Vegas. And that's the deal, is keeping in mind that it is a Carney town, and even if the MBAs don't get it, you better believe the grunts on the ground get it. They are Carneys. That's what they are. That's the way they work. That's the way they think.
The ones who are successful.
Even the ones who are failing at it, they still think that way. They think that money won is better than money earned, and money stolen is better than anything. That's the way they think. And that's what built Vegas, frankly. Vegas was built by Goombas and Carneys. And to the extent that Vegas betrays that Carney tradition, it loses its reason to exist. And why is the entire strip north of Encore essentially a wasteland? We've got the Riviera and Circus and nothing else. Why? Because Vegas forgot what business it's in. It is not in the business of getting whales to buy shoes at Fendi or whatever the hell they sell at Fendi. That's not the... Who gives a rat's ass? Nobody's buying them anyway. We saw it. So, walk through Crystal and see how empty it is. Giant, beautiful shopping mall built for bazillionaires, and the bazillionaires aren't here. They're in Macau, and the low rollers are here, and all they're doing is walking through because they know they're not welcome. And how stupid is that? Why would you give up that opportunity to take all of those low rollers, and there are thousands of them, and find ways of taking their money? And I'm not saying that they're not taking their money, because I know they are. You look at the casino floor, and that money is being dumped in those machines, dumped on those tables. But it just looks like so many opportunities are being missed just because Vegas isn't Carney enough. How sick is that? Vegas isn't Carney enough to soak the suckers, to melt the marks. I think we screwed up, darling. I think we missed Blue Diamond entirely. I think we missed it. I think we blew it. I didn't even see it. But we're actually at Pahrump. We might as well go to a whorehouse, for God's sake. We're in Pahrump. I headed for it, yeah. That's got to be the outskirts of Pahrump. That's a big town. Yeah. Unless it's Las Vegas. When I took this route before, I ended up in Summerlin, and that should have been a while ago. So I did something wrong. I was paying attention to the woman instead of the drive. But this is a lot bigger than Blue Diamond, whatever the hell it is. But we got to get out of the sticks in Nevada. Any observations, further observations you would make about the casino scene?
About the casino?
Yeah. What your take is on Vegas is true?
I'm more aware of pickup artists, you know, that
we saw that, yeah.
And I think that before you did the 21 convention, I was not aware of this going on. I probably wouldn't have even noticed.
Well, we would have seen it, but we wouldn't have known what we were seeing. Yeah. So we did see at MGM Friday night at Hakkasan. I cannot imagine how you could get people to go to a club named Hakkasan. It sounds like something you do after you've had a bad cold. But a mass number of young people, you know, early 20s, that age group, young and old enough to have money, and yet too stupid to know how to spend it wisely.
Yeah, and I have families yet.
Yeah.
That's where I was
Yeah, I know, young and single. You were like that. I wasn't like that. I was working all those years, but that's what it was. Is these kids all going out to go dancing at this club, and it's, you know, it's a pickup scene, is what it amounts to. And so lots and lots and lots of really fat girls in really ugly dresses. This is America. Short fat girls abound, and half the guys were schlubs, which is to be expected, but the other half were really turned out, and they were ready to rock. They were ready to pick somebody up and do something with her. And it was just really an enlightening scene to see all of these people lined up to be marketed to each other as meat.
We didn't see any tents at all in the line, women.
Not even close. No, they, like we said, they would have gotten picked off earlier.
But this club was just starting. But there are guys there who were in great shape.
Yeah, but the guys who are in great shape are not going to get the 10s. The guys who are in great shape and are really rich are going to get the 10s. This is Vegas. So we are in the land of Nye. What was that talk show host? What was his name? I think he's deceased. He had a late night talk show host. He was all conspiracy theories. He broadcast from Pahrump. He lived in a trailer in Pahrump, and that was his studio. And they had a satellite uplink so that he could have. It was a national show. No kidding. National syndicated talk radio from the land of Nye. I'm not on the video anyway. It's all you.
I think she was on the video.
Because I can have me or I can have you, but I can't have both. Not at this distance. It would have to be. Camera would have to be out there somewhere. But I haven't seen, on the street, I've seen lots of hustle. And like I said, it's a Carney town. You got to figure that anybody who says anything to you is a Carney one way or another.
But you know, not as much as in years past. What I noticed with the people who are handing out the cards to the prostitutes, there are a lot more women doing it, and they're too timid to be in your face about it. Before, men were asking me, you know, when they were right in your face.
They were paying for more of them, that's why. That's why.
But there are these, like, old grandmas.
Abuelitas.
Yeah. And they just don't have the nerve. They hope somebody will take the card.
And people will, too, because they want to be nice. This is amazing. This is a fun little town, huh? Well, all you got to do is find the town.
BLM Fire Station.
Bureau of Land Management. The feds. Buy one, get two free. This must be a Las Vegas thing, huh? That because we're in Nye County, we have the reason that there are prostitutes in Pahrump and not in Las Vegas. That's going to be leading to a bordello right there.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Or is that something else?
It's all kinds of stuff. There are all kinds of strip clubs named Crazy Horse all over the place, so I don't know why. And that was an Indian name. It was an Indian warrior. It was an airstrip right there. Or maybe a forgotten subdivision. Just looks like an airstrip because they never built the houses. But yeah, certainly the campaigning for prostitutes is way down this time, and all kinds of other stuff. Although on Fremont Street last night we saw a whole bunch. I've seen a bunch of photo models, people dressed up in costume who will take a picture with you, or you can take a picture of them. You tip them. And last night on Fremont Street we saw a whole bunch of those, including Edward Scissorhands, including Kiss as a cripple. Kiss. Somebody dressed up as Ace Frehley from Kiss on a wheelchair, so that you can have your picture taken with Kiss on a wheelchair or something. I don't know. That's like a double grift is what it is. This is somebody who's not good enough to make money either way, so he's playing both games. Take my picture or take pity on me. Either way, give me your money. Because I am a Carney and you are a sucker, and these are our roles in life.
Are like way off there.
Went somewhere off the beaten path, and they'll limo you from the casino if you want to go. So my take on Pahrump is, you've seen it once, you could probably wait another 20 years to wait for it to change.
It's the future site of the Nike.
Here's the real deal. In order to have brothels in Nevada, the law says that the population of the county has to be less than 100,000. That's why there are no brothels in Clark County, because 80% of the state lives in Clark County. But Nye County has fewer than 100,000 souls right now, and that's why they can have prostitutes. But if Vegas suburbanizes this way, then it'll all go away, because the population will go up and the brothels will come down. Except that they'll change the law, and then there will be brothels in Clark County, and the name of that brothel will be Mandalay Resort. It will be the Excalibur, the Mirage. You saw the girl, you saw the money, and now neither are here. It's the Mirage. I know, it is. You see little subdivisions all through here, and some of them might be lot split subdivisions, but some might be the real thing. How bizarre. I'm glad we came here. I mean, it's a wonderful mistake. There's nothing like serendipity.
Yeah, I agree. No, these are all real subdivisions over here.
I don't know, they look kind of spread apart. You're just seeing the tile roofs and thinking that means subdivision. You've been phenoxetized. And now we must buy expensive gas because we drove much further than we intended to. So let's buy expensive local gas.